And we're back. Welcome to yet another episode of Singular, where we, of course, discuss record of the year. Kicking it this episode in 2006, where the world was not full of treasonous people storming the Capitol. Maybe it was. They were probably there. Anyway, as usual, remembering that his snark is worse than his bite, Mr. Eric Nelson.
That bite is a good one. I'll just say that.
Wow.
And of course, keeping us on track with our facts and figures, Dr. Vincent Stevens.
Very good. You got it right. No, you had it right the first time.
Dr. Vincent Stevens.
Very good.
And I, of course,
America's sweetheart.
the sweetheart of your rodeo. Party virtually.
Wow. Wow.
Yeehaw! Dr. Stevens.
Okay, so 2006. So the best-selling album of 2006, are you ready? High School Musical. That was the best-selling album of the year. Yeah. Just thought that would throw that in for, hits and giggles. In terms of singles, coming in at number 10, Check on It by Beyonce featuring Slim Thug. Number 9, Sexy Back, Justin Timberlake featuring Timbaland. Number 8, Riding, Chameleonaire featuring Crazy Bone. Number 7, Crazy, which is going to make another appearance on this episode, Gnarls, Barkley. Number 6, Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. Number 5, Hips Don't Lie, Shakira featuring Wyclef Jean. Number 4, You're Beautiful, James Blunt, also making an appearance. Number 3, Promiscuous, Nelly featuring Timbaland. Number 2, Temperature, Sean Paul. And number 1, the number 1 song of 2006, Bad Day by Daniel Powter, who, like Mr. Nelson, was wearing a hat in the video. So there you go.
You had a bad day. Pick it back up,
Indeed.
Yeah. So what got nominated and what won this year? So our nominees are Be Without You by Mary J. Blige, who I think is celebrating a birthday or just did like a few days ago. So happy B-Day to Mary J. Ain't no hateration in this dancery.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Indeed. Crazy, as Vincent pointed out, by Gnarls Barkley. Girl, Put Your Records On by Corinne Bailey Ray. You're Beautiful by James Blunt. And the winner, who took home like a whole bunch of Grammys that year, were the Chicks. And this particular song that won Record of the Year was Not Ready to Make Nice. I am not ready to make nice. And I'm just letting that out there. So we'll listen to these songs, talk about which one should have won. Did the right one win? Maybe it did. Maybe it did. And what else should have been nominated? So Vincent Stevens, as our in-house DJ, would you mind putting, laying down a track, getting a groove on for us?
I think I can.
Excellent.
All right.
Let's kick it off with Mary J, right?
Let's start off. Yeah, that's a good one. Here we go.
Okay.
Street was crazy from the get-go. Neither one of us knew why. We didn't build nothing overnight, cause a love like this takes some time. People swore it off as a phase, said we can't see that. Now from top to bottom, they see that we did that. Yes, it's so true that we've been through it. Yes, we got rushed. Yes, see, baby, we've been too strong for too long, and I can't be without you, baby. And I'll be waiting.
Vincent, I can't be without you. Ever.
Oh, thank you, doll. The feeling's mutual.
Yes.
All right.
So kick it off for us.
Okay, so Mary J. Blige is the queen of hip hop soul, and I believe this is the first time she was nominated for Record of the Year, which is surprising. But I think of this song as it's kind of her version of a song like Mariah Carey's "Don't Forget About Us" or "We Belong Together." It's this very sleek, very tight R&B flavored ballad that was a huge hit. It starts off with some strings and the beat comes in. It's very catchy. It kind of moves along. It doesn't, I wouldn't say it plods, but it kind of like, it's very beat driven. I think Mary J. Blige is such an iconic voice, and I think she sounds as good as she's ever sounded. She sounds quite good. And I think, Mary J. Blige is often associated with torch songs and songs where she's suffering and dealing with a difficult man. So I feel like this song is refreshing because it's about uplift and it's about love and it's about, just finding comfort and security in another person. So I think in many ways, I'm glad that, she's gone from, just the girl who's from around the way who's singing, kind of dance songs to like doing these very, luscious romantic ballads. So yeah, I think she sounds really good. And I think this is one of her better ballads. So yeah, I think it's a nice flavor within this group of very strong nominees.
Speaking of a strong nominee, Susan, will you flex the muscle for us? Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on this track.
Well, to Vincent's point, I love Around the Way Girl.
Was that Vincent's point?
Yeah. It was one of his many points. He makes so many, but I was just trying to pin it down. Mary J, that voice, she comes in, she coats us all in it. And you want extra red to sop it up. You're like, thank you, Mary J, for being there. I love that piano in there. I just think the song is beautiful. I mean, I also feel like this song fits in so many places. Like it can also be a good shopping montage, but also chilling on the beach, car down highway, just washing dishes at home. I think this song has so many places. I wish the bridge was a bit of a bigger build, or a greater breakdown to it. And I do love the hand claps, but I feel like you can kind of get a little too lulled into them. But I think to Vincent's point about the production, this song kind of hits on all of it, but it doesn't feel like it's too, in so many ways that you've talked about in past, Eric, it's not just pushing the buttons. I think it's really fulfilling it
by numbers.
Yeah. Nice job, Mary J, but you didn't need me to say that.
But it's nice. It's always nice to get a compliment, isn't it? So my first reaction on listening to this song was, oh, right. Yeah, this is 2006. It totally it is time-stamped, which isn't a bad thing, but it is not timeless. It's so of this moment. And then I listened to it again and I was like, oh, right. This is We Belong Together all over again. And then I did a little research and it was written by the same people and it was produced by the same people. And I love it. I love We Belong Together. I really like this song, but I wish it had a little more of its ownness. So I'll get to that in a second. Musically, it is there, the little tinkly piano and the reference to go listen to the radio. Even lyrically, it uses some of the same imagery, which I thought was a little disappointing to me. And then I thought of my husband, because recently he got a new pair of glasses. And when he was at the store, I've gone with him before to buy glasses, but we're in COVID. So he went in a social distance way. We have as few people at the store as possible. So he texted me some pictures of his glasses that he was thinking about. And he said, which ones do I wear and which ones wear me? Because I don't want to have glasses that wear me. And then I thought, Mary J always, no song wears Mary J. Mary J wears the song. And even with all of its a little we're going down this track again, her vocal and her delivery takes it to that place that gives it its freshness. So that yes, 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 that she does over and over again. I just love, she brings such drama and flavor to even a pop or a dance song that just transcends and elevates. So I wish it wasn't so much of a retread of We Belong Together, but then, she sings and it helps. So I would listen to the song any day of the week, but to be record of the year, to be a retread made me sonically a little disappointed. Nothing against MJ. So yeah, there we go. So next up on the list, let's bring it to crazy. Let's get a little crazy on here, right? So Gnarls Barkley might, give us something to think about.
All right, here we go.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy?
Vincent, does this song make you crazy?
It does. Crazy excited. So one of the things I like about this group of nominees is that it really speaks to what was happening in 2006. I think that this song is kind of sleek postmodern R&B. It's not just like a ballad. It's not just like a dance song or funk song. It kind of has its own thing. In my notes, I have sleek, propulsive. It's like a haunting film theme. Like it could be from like a postmodern Western or something. I also like the hook. Like I like the sort of dangling, like, does this make me crazy? I must be crazy. Am I crazy? I think, yeah, and I think CeeLo is somebody who has a very traditional kind of gospel voice, but I don't feel that he doesn't always just sing very straightforward R&B. Like I think he does lots of different things. And I feel like this song is so unique to his style. Like Betty LaVette actually does an interesting cover of this song, and she does it in her own style. So the song is very adaptable. I would say the one challenge with a song like this compared to some other songs is this, because it's so sleek and because it's so produced, it maybe is slightly less dynamic. Like in other words, performing the song live might be very different than other types of songs that have a more traditional structure, foundation, whatever. But no, I think this song is like really expertly produced, ear candy. There's really nothing quite like it. And so I think just sonically, it's just tight, it's focused. And that's the other thing. The songs in this group of nominees, they don't go on forever. They kind of make their point and they're done. And I think this song is successful at that. So again, I think this is a winner. Not necessarily the winner, but a winner.
So should we go to a winner? One of the winners on the show? Susan, you've won a lot. You always win. What's that like?
Well, and like Gnarls Barkley and the rest of the songs, I make my point and I move on. I love the bounce to the song. I love the voice. I love the tempo. I feel like they could be singing Susan is Going to Die and I would still be like bopping along to it. I think I kind of forget about it and then it comes back on and I'm like, oh yes, I'm here for it. I'm not going to say much about it because I just really enjoy it. And Vincent's point about ear candy, I do want to comment because I've never figured out the name Gnarls Barkley. And does anyone know, like, is that supposed to be some play on Charles Barkley? Do you know who Charles Barkley is?
Soccer. Water polo, maybe?
Okay. Yeah. All right, so I guess not. Moving on, Eric.
Yeah, I love this song. It's so fun. It just pulls you in. I love both of your points. Like it's so ear candy. And it's so different. Like even hearing it again, I haven't heard it in a while. Like it still sounds like nothing else that's being played right now, or sounds like nothing else that was out at that time. That's what is sort of what I love about all these nominees. There's such variety in this 5-pack that we're listening to today. And I really appreciate that. I love it when his vocal just soars, it just pulls you in. But like even from note one, it just like, you don't have to even like get, it doesn't, you don't have to find, you know, those songs that like, oh, after the 4th listen, it finally clicks. Like this song clicks like moment one, the first time you hear it, and you're just pulled in. And I think that speaks to what Vincent was talking about, just the expert, tight production on this song. And there's nothing sort of wasted or bloated about this song. It just kind of gets in, does its thing, also to Vincent's point. The one thing which it does, because it's so strong out of the gate, I think it ends, it does, and I don't know if it needs to, but it just sort of ends, and you don't get on another journey with it. Like some songs will have that, and we'll get to it with Corinne Bailey Rae's Put Your Records On. It like has this like bounce moment at the end where it bounces a little higher than the rest of the song. This one to me doesn't really have that. I kind of love those moments, but this one is so good in and of itself. So happy to hear it again. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. So speaking of bouncing towards the end, put your records on. Vincent, will you put your record on?
I am.
Did you have any
putting my
records?
record on. All right, let's see. Let's find. Let's put.
Maybe sometimes we got it wrong, but it's alright. The more things seem to change, the more they stay the same. Don't you hesitate. Go put your records on. Tell me your favorite song. You go ahead, let your head down. Sapphire and faded jeans. I hope you get your dreams. Just go ahead, let your head.
Vincent, I hope you get your dreams.
Thank you. Me too. And I'm definitely letting my hair down. So I was saying, I think to Susan the other day, like part of what's interesting about this song is that it wasn't a big hit. Like this was not a top 40 top pop hit at all, though it sounds like a hit. But I remember when it first came out on like, I don't know, VH1 or something, they were interviewing Corinne Bailey Rae and the video was on. I think it may have been more of an adult alternative hit, but who even knows? This song has a really nice lilt to it. It's very pleasant, like her singing is very conversational. And I think that there's a certain frothy summer, spring feel about it. Like you can see, somebody just like, I don't know, walking through a field with like, I don't know, butterflies or I don't know, trees and flowers, whatever. But I mean, I just feel like it's a mood, right? It's a scene. It's putting you in a certain place. And I mean, there's a great tradition of songs about music, like Drift Away by Dobie Gray or Killing Me Softly with his song. And I feel like this is kind of an ode to records as this form of, I don't know, solace and comfort. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a very lovely song, very pleasant to listen to. And again, I think it sort of combines some element of light R&B with elements of singer-songwriter music with elements of kind of pop. So it's got a lot of different things going on. I would say if I were to be critical of the song, I think the production is a little bit more obviously a patchwork. Like you've got the drum machine, you've got strumming. Her voice is sort of, there are moments when her voice is very isolated. So it's very produced. Like it's a little bit of a patchwork. I don't think that diminishes its quality. It's just there are times when it draws attention to itself. If I were going to be really harsh about it, that's the only thing I would critique about it. But yeah, I think it's a lovely song. I think it's nice to have a singer-songwriter type song that's not like angsty. That's just very pleasant and very fun to listen to. So good for Corinne Bailey Rae.
And good for Vincent. And good for Susan.
Good for you, Eric.
Thank you. Susan, what record would you put on if you were putting your records on?
You know what? I would put on the record of 2006 because Vincent and I talked about this. This year is so good. This year is so good. We also wondered if this was the year that we stopped being in touch with modern, like present day music, because we knew it all, and now somewhere things have gotten a little blurry. I just
it could be a bottle of wine a night. I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that's it. I mean, I'm sure some might say like take that away and see what happens, but like who's got time for that?
No, don't A/B test it.
No. I think this song is beautiful. And when Vincent told me that it was not a hit that year, I was kind of shocked by that because I like really remember the song and I wasn't watching VH1 at the time, but I know what? I just think it's a beautiful song and I love the storytelling in this song. Vincent is seeing fields I very much, this song for me is like urban stoop life, which I just love. And when you get that first scent of spring in the air and people are outside and play is happening and friends are sharing a drink, I mean, this song just kind of like rolls through you. You want to carry it with you. You want it to be in your step as you make your way. Just think it's beautiful. I really love her voice, and I think her voice is very interesting, but it doesn't kind of fall into kind of like a caricature of itself. And I just think it's beautiful. I think this is a beautiful year. I think this is a great year. I think we should stay here forever.
Done. Let's set up camp, pitch a tent, have a good time. I agree with it. I love this song. Like, I love this song. It has such a, to Vincent's point, like it's this mood and this sort of story, and you get to Susan, your point, you get taken on this journey with her. And I love that both of you, you describe different things. And I think that's one of the really fabulous things about this song, is that it presents this mood, but it doesn't impose. So you're able to get pulled into it. And I just love that about it. It's such a, I think lyrically, it does such a good job, and musically, of just sweeping you in, and you're there for the ride the whole time. And I love that, again, that bounce at the end when she sort of lets it go, but it's not this crazy belt, but it just is so emotional. And I will say, maybe it's a cliche, or maybe it's, it's a little pat in its, term, but the line, "I hope you get your dreams," just like, it's the most, like, it both elevates and it's heartbreaking at the same time. When you think about adulthood versus childhood, like, it just, that line just gets me every single time. And I just find this song so beautiful. I will also say, I think, to both of your points, like this, like, it shocked me too. Like, why was this not a hit? And I think there's, around this time in music, radio turns its back on these kind of songs. Like, there's, which isn't exactly the same, but "Don't Know Why" by Norah Jones, 1, 2, 3, 4 by Feist. There's a song called "New Soul" by Yael Naim. I think that's her name. Anyway, but these sort of, like, they would have been hits in the 90s because they would have been by these, like, singer-songwriter women that just ruled the charts in the 90s. And then the aughts come around, and radio decides, we are never going to play these songs ever again. Even if they're fabulous like this one, they just won't do it. And that pisses me off. Like, why can't we have more variety in radio play, or what gets attention? Why does it all have to be songs by the same production teams and written by the same people who will literally be 15 writers on one song, and that's all that gets played? Like, why can't we have more variety? And why can't these, like, lovely singer-songwriter songs make their way back into our world? So that's my pitch. Like, bring this song back, bring back these kinds of songs into our world. Like, why does it all have to be a personal anthem, or like being at a club getting bottle service? Like, can't we have a little more variety in our world?
Exactly.
So anyway, I love this song. I love this song. So I'll just end it on that note. So beauty. I think we're talking about beauty here. So, you're beautiful, Vincent. Susan, you're beautiful. Thank you. Let's cue this song up.
All right, let's see. Let's find a good place. All right.
I saw an angel, of that I'm sure. She smiled at me on the subway. She was with another man, but I won't lose no sleep on that, 'cause I've got a plan. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. I saw your face in a crowded place, and I don't know what to.
Vincent, I bet you know what to do about this song.
I mean, I know what not to do, not to be a crazy stalker. That's what not to do. So, okay, this song was ubiquitous. Like, this song was the epitome of ubiquity. It was on all the time, on every station. And to the point where I was like, oh, so this is that song that I was like, oh God, I've got to listen to this ish. And so I kind of heard it, when I was listening to the playlist. I would say heard it as opposed to listening. Then I said, no, I need to really listen. And so, I think it's got a nice kind of elegant beginning. I think that the lyrics are fairly traditional, though there's more of a story here than I remember, which was good. I think because it's a singer-songwriter type song, it's got a very repetitive internal structure. So it kind of like, where it's going. I would say I do think it's the weakest song in this group, but I don't think it's a bad song. Like, I think that it does what it's aiming to do, which is fairly modest. I don't know if James Blunt thought that it would become the big hit it was, but I think this is one of those songs that was a really huge hit in the UK, and then it became a hit in the United States, and it became kind of a global hit, I think. So yeah, I mean, I think the difference between this and a lot of songs that are by kind of male troubadours is that it feels sincere. It doesn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't sound like, oh, this is a really insensitive guy trying to sound sensitive. And I don't even think it's about sensitivity. I think it's just like, I'm attracted to you, you're beautiful, I don't know what to do with that. So I think it's probably the most traditional and conservative of these songs. But it was fine. Like, again, I mean, to allude to sort of Susan's analogy a few weeks ago about like, you make a playlist and songs bring different things. So this is like, okay, the parties happen, we're cleaning up, we're picking up the glasses and picking up plates, and we're kind of humming, putting things in the dishwasher, and then it's time to go to bed.
So speaking of going to bed, Susan, you're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Well, I have to say, coming into this, I was like, oh, James Blunt, that sweet boy. And then I Googled him and I realized he's the same age as me. And it's like, oh, he's not a child. He's not a child. And sometimes when I think about men singing in that falsetto for too long, I get a little cringy thinking about it. And then I think about James Blunt singing the song to me, and then I'm okay with it. And I have to say, the actual storytelling saves this song. I mean, I think it's a really lovely story of seeing someone that I've, in my opinion, that he knows that he's let go, but he still finds her beautiful, and that he, probably messed up, but it's probably for the best. And I think dropping the F-bomb in it, which I don't think we heard on the radio edit, but we hear in this one, kind of gives it that little like bad boy edge to it. So you're like, okay. You forgive a lot of the falsetto. I think it's a very pretty song. I do feel like it might be the weakest one in this category, but I also feel like this category this year is really strong. So it's hard to be the British falsetto male for once.
It's hard.
It's hard for him, I'm sure,
yeah.
But he'll be okay.
Is that a genre?
It is now. Hashtag British falsetto. What did I say? Yeah, British falsetto male. Eric.
Yeah. This song is this year's Lady in Red by Krista Berg. Like, nobody wants to hear this song ever again.
I danced to Lady in Red with Chris Cardello in the 6th grade.
I'm sure you did.
This is me.
Totally. Like, this song came on again and I was like, oh, right, this song. I haven't heard this song in a long time. This song. Right. And like, oh, so let's just talk about Corinne Bailey Rae. Like, Put Your Records On was not a hit. This song was a huge hit somehow. Like, why did radio need to lean into this one and not lean into, in my opinion, a far superior song? Also singer-songwriter, different tone. I don't know. Just like, I think, I don't have a lot to say about this song except for I remember, and I Googled it, so I've confirmed this, that it has been on a number of lists of the most irritating songs of all time. And I think it has held its place there. So I just like, it sounds so put upon, and the way he uses the falsetto seems so like like contrived. Like I don't believe a word. Like it's just so like really. So
All I can say is Susan in red is dancing with me.
like there's like such a faux earnestness to the song that I don't buy. I don't buy any of it. It just doesn't work for me. Maybe it's that falsetto, or it's just like it's so. Maybe it's the video, or I heard it so many times. Like, so I guess I'm not ready to make nice with this song. I'll just say that. So
But who is ready to make nice?
but who's right? So let's move on to that, right? Let's get to a little grit
Right.
in our world.
We're
So
gonna
the
get to
Chicks with
That's what it is.
Not Ready to Make Nice.
Okay.
Forgive sounds good. Forget, I'm not sure I could. They say time heals everything, but I'm still waiting. I'm through with doubt. There's nothing left for me.
So let's figure it out, right?
Okay.
Vincent, unpack this for us.
So I decided to stick with, in our excerpt, to stick with the beginning because I just think the opening chords are so ominous. Like those first few chords are telling you a story right there. And what I like about the song is the premise that it's questioning the terms of forgiveness, right? It's like, as we know, Natalie Maines was outspoken about the Bush administration and its, war mongering foreign policy. And, country radio, which prides itself on claiming to be so patriotic and so whatever, couldn't handle women dissenting from the sort of, mainline politics. So again, we're living in an age where people complain about alleged cancel culture, but when you're a country artist and you question American foreign policy, you get canceled. But you know what? The Chicks were like, it doesn't matter because they had a hit album that reached #1 and they cleaned up. They won Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Album of the Year, Best Country Group, and Best Country Album. So thanks and good night. But in terms of the song itself, I love the idea that it's interrogating the idea of, well, speech is free unless it's speech that we don't want to hear. And part of what I love about the song is that it's a true blend, right? It's a country-oriented band singing in it has a more rock-oriented textural element, but it also has these like pop textures. And there's a period between like minute 212 and 223 where there's this great orchestral flourish that just sort of gives it this touch. The thing about this song that I love is that it's a little bit under 4 minutes and there's never a wasted minute. It uses every moment really smartly. So there's no fat in it. And what I mean by that is that it makes its point and it builds logically and progressively. And, it's angry. And there's a minute where Natalie Maines sort of explodes a bit and then pulls back. I have like at 3:15, it just pulls back. It's like, I have opened this door and now I'm closing it. And I love the way that at the end it does the reprise of forgive sounds good. Forget, I'm not sure I could. Like, I just think this song ages really well. It sort of captures what was happening in 2006. But if they released this song today, it would still resonate. So yeah, I think this song is a winner in many ways.
Speaking of a winner in all ways, Susan.
You just tee them up every time. Thank you. I cannot hide, deny. You all know, and for those that have been listening to this podcast, this is like my favorite song of all time. And I've asked anyone that runs anywhere close to me to remind the funeral director that this is to be played at my funeral. So, dear listener, if Eric and Vincent don't get it together, play this at my funeral. This song for me is perfection. I've talked about it, also is on one of my favorite albums of all time. That gut string guitar in the beginning, Vincent, like you said, that tells a story. You come into that low range that they're hitting, the lyrics, the point in our history, what happened afterwards that this song is telling that story of, is so powerful. And remembering that people were out in the streets calling the chicks traitors because they had expressed that they were embarrassed that George W. Bush was from their home state. That's where we got to, that they were traitors because they expressed that. They did not take up arms against our government. They did not try to infiltrate our voting system. They did not give secrets to another government. They merely expressed that they were embarrassed. This song is so powerful to me. I could laugh, I could scream, I could cry throughout this entire song. The build in that bridge you were talking about, Vincent, when she breaks it down, the speed and the breath control in that part is just masterclass. Everyone should listen to that. And those strings, I swoon. I absolutely swoon. I would be very interested, the two twin young men who I believe their YouTube channel is Twins New Trend, who listen to music. If they have ever listened to this song, I would love to see and hear their reactions to it. It's not going to be a big reveal. It's not going to be a big secret, but this song is one of my absolute favorites. I love it. I adore it. I think it's perfection.
Love it. Well, you know, I'm going to echo the way you both started, which that the opening of this song is so impactful and pulls you in. And I love that, you know, in the pop or, you know, a mainstream music format, there's the strength to say, like, I'm not ready. Like, why do we always have to forgive everybody? Why do we always have to say, let's agree to disagree? Let's, like, why is everything a negotiation? Like, let's say we're not going to agree on that. And this is not right. And this happened. And I'm not going to forgive. Like, why should I? Like, what, Susan, you described the journey that they went through as a band, as people. I love the part she doesn't shy away from the threats that they received, and finding a way to lyrically pull that in is, I could only imagine how hard it was to tell this story, but in a way that works melodically in music. There was an article I was reading about how the challenge they had with writing this song, because like how you do that in a way that is both really personal and universal and doesn't just feel like a bunch of spite on a page, because it doesn't feel that way. I think the beauty of this song is they're able to hold their ground and say what they need to say, but still make it universal and something that we all can like understand that story in it, which I think is really lovely. And the one, which is actually not a criticism of this song at all, but one point, or one, just as I think about like record of the year and songs that you know, get this timelessness, this song is so owned by the Chicks. Like, I wonder how, I don't know, has anyone covered this song? I wonder how it plays as a cover. That's just the way, you know, when I think of record of the year, I think of songs that will have the life on its own because it's such a powerful song, but will get translated or covered or used in different ways. And I don't know I wonder if it could, because like some of the strength of this song is the story of the Chicks and the story of what they went through. So, though in their defense, or I don't know if anyone needs defense, in my own laziness, I have not searched for that or not looked for that. So I bring this point up with knowing that it's probably not fair also to bring that point up without having looked for that. So I just say that out loud. But it's great. It's so great. And the emotion in it, and the video, like if anyone hasn't watched the video yet, it's such an interesting partnership to this. And I'll say one other just thing about this, like, I love too that they took a cliche, not ready to make nice, and were able to elevate a song. Like that's often like, I don't know what else to do to write a song. So what cliche hasn't been used yet? Oh, this one, that's gonna be, I'll write, that's a song we'll write. And they are able to use that convention, but elevate it beyond just that feeling. So anyway, so great. Such a great song. So
I would also recommend, if people haven't seen it, the documentary Shut Up and Sing, where it goes into the story, because I think it's very telling. And I think that they as a band had some internal tensions about what was said and the fallout from that. And I mean, people don't realize the Dixie Chicks, I mean, the Chicks, before they were called the Chicks, they were called the Dixie Chicks, as we know, but they were the twins, the McGuire sisters were there, but Natalie Maines was not in the first incarnation. And so I think she really helped. I don't want to say she put them on the map, but I think that she sort of propelled them forward in the late 90s. So their story as a band is fascinating. And the fact that they didn't make another album until 2020's Gaslighter. I think that, I know that they did other things musically, but I think the impact of this was so big in some ways, this album, that it's almost like, how do you even follow that up? You know? So,
yeah.
anyway.
So Vincent, how would you follow up this year? Who would you put in this category?
So that's a good question, Eric. I looked at, what were the top songs on Billboard that year, because I feel like this was still one of those years where what was happening in pop music is what was playing on the radio. So songs that I liked, I don't know that I'm not saying these should be the nominees, but there were some songs that I liked, like Promiscuous by Nelly Furtado featuring Timbaland. Like, I don't necessarily think it's a deep song, but it's ear candy. Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. It was, again, very ubiquitous, probably annoying to people, but I actually kind of think it's a kind of creative. I think the premise of it is kind of creative. Black Horse and the Cherry Tree by KT Tunstall. I love that song. Like, there's nothing else that sounds quite like that. And I have a soft spot in my heart for Pink always. So Stupid Girl is kind of a great song. Like, I feel like she was really getting at sort of the rise of reality show and just the ways that sort of these really demeaning ideas about what a young woman is, how that was becoming popularized. Like, I love the fact that she stepped in and said, we used to want something more, ladies, come on. So I can think of at least one song in this group of nominees that if that song wasn't there, you're beautiful. Some of these songs are like Unwritten is a song, I want to hear that again. Or Black Horse in the Church, I want to hear that again. I hear You're Beautiful, I'm like, okay, I get it, but I don't necessarily want to revisit it. So
Let's revisit Susan's thoughts. What's
I mean, I know I really often come out with a lot of information in this section. I will echo what Vincent said. Where is Pink? But other than that, I'm just going to, I feel like this year does it. This is a great package. I have little to offer to it.
You always have a lot to offer, so don't. I'm gonna. So all those ones you mentioned, Vincent, are so great. A couple others. I don't know if this deserved to be in the list this year, but "Sexy Back" is such a fun song. Like, why? It was number one for like a whole bunch of weeks. I really like that song, so I'm putting it up there for opportunity to be on this list. Also, Christina Aguilera's "Ain't No Other Man." Like, I'll listen to that song any day of the week. Beautiful. So I know it's like it's retro-y and pastiche-y, but it's really fun and whatnot.
Fun.
Yeah. But I love Unwritten too. I think that's a great. It again takes sort of some of these cliche-y kind of ideas about every like lifting people up, and it just does it in such a great way, and it has a hook to it that can't be denied, and you just want to keep revisiting that. So to me, that's the one song that would have easily fit on this list, taking perhaps one out of the mix. So here we go. Okay, so who should have won? Did the right award go into the right person's hand? So Vincent, the right people's hands.
Yeah. So as we said, this is a strong group. You got some songs that were big hits, songs that were innovative and interesting, but I definitely feel that the Dixie Chicks "Not Ready to Make Nice" was the best choice. I think blending country elements with rock music, with pop music is a really difficult mix. I think it usually dilutes the things that make country interesting or can make a pop tune sound like very trite. But I think that this song actually manages to blend those elements perfectly. And again, I just think this song is such a smartly crafted, well-produced song. And it's a song you can listen to over and over again, and it just gains strength. So I definitely think the Chicks deserve this, hands down, for both record as well as song and album. So yeah, bravo to them.
Passing it around. Susan, I think we know what you're going to pick, maybe, right?
Without a doubt, ladies and gentlemen, dear readers, Not Ready to Make Nice, the Chicks, this song is phenomenal. It knocks it out of the park. And every time, I will never grow tired of hearing the song. And I hope to hear it in the afterlife as it's
You're going to be taking this song with you, is what it sounds like.
Okay.
So I'm torn because I love Not Ready to Make Nice. I think it's such a great song. But I also think Put Your Records On is just, it like warms my heart in such amazing way. I love listening to it over and over. So I'm going to make a controversial choice here because, Not Ready to Make, the Chicks won Album of the Year. I think they should have won and did, as Vincent pointed out. They won Song of the Year, which is the Writers Award. So for Record of the Year, sort of the ear candy package, I'm going to give it to Corinne Bailey Rae and say Put Your Records On should get some awards love. And I'm gonna say, because I know the Chicks won so many that year, that a little like spreading it around, I think I know they're both great songs. They're totally great songs.
I was gonna say, I think, and you can, if somebody wants to look this up, they can correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is one of those years where like Corinne Bailey Rae was nominated for these major categories, but wasn't nominated in the female vocalist category. So she didn't win anything and that year. And I think Like a Star, which is an album track from her first, I think that was nominated for Song of the Year. I don't know if it was nominated for Song of the Year this year or the following year.
The next year. Which is like, I always don't like when they do that.
I don't like when they do that either. So I do feel like it's unfortunate that she never got recognized in certain ways. But yeah. But I mean, I think this year, though, the real winner is the fact that this was a really good list. Like the Grammy people got it right. There was nothing outright wretched in the group, which for the Grammys is a pretty high batting average.
And there's such variety. That's all, like it sonically has all these different representations going on. Really good year.
Yes.
Good year. Bravo, Grammys. Bravo. All right, ladies and gentlemen. This has been yet another episode of Singular, where we, of course, have discussed Record of the Year. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Podcast Singular, and of course on Facebook at Pod Singular, and here on YouTube at Podcast Singular. Don't forget to click like and subscribe down below. And don't forget to ring that bell for all of our notifications. From Vincent, Eric, and myself, it's been an honor spending another hour with you. And remember,
it's an honor.
An honor.
Nominated. Justing.
Nated.
Smooth. So smooth.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.